Oh man. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello guys. We're gonna wait a few minutes, let some folks jump in here. It is 9:30. I'm a little tired tonight, I ain't even gonna lie. So we're gonna wait a few minutes, let some folks pop on. Hey, it's Lisa. Hey Lisa. Can you hear me? I wanna make sure that you can hear me. Hey you, can you hear me? I wanna make sure because I believe my wireless speaker is on, so I believe I'm using that mic tonight. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Put a one up if you can hear me in the comment. What's the name? Okay, cool, cool. How are you, darling? You still in Florida? Did you get back to Brooklyn yet? We're still gonna wait for a few more people to pop in. I see we got two live viewers, or one. We'll wait a few more minutes and then I'm gonna discuss my book. Hey, thank you for the thumbs up. And again, everyone that has joined in, thank you. Oh, back home? Okay. So I take it you turned in that letter and everything to the old job. Is it still the ex job or are you going back to that job? I just actually faxed over my resignation letter. That was the last thing to do. Last closeout. Well, actually second to last. I had to mail back my the keys to the apartment. So those are my last two pieces of New York business. Yes, you're going back to the job, but no, you are no longer there. Hey, Dawn. Thank you for popping in. Dawn Ellison, graphic designer extraordinaire. Definitely have to support what she's doing. Oh, you resigned? Okay, I understand. Listen, I just sent mine in too. It was funny. Hey, what's up, Dawn? Yeah, I sent my resignation letter in. I faxed it over. I got a response that, they'll go ahead and take care of the paperwork. So technically, I am resigned from the Department of Education. So now it is wherever God leads me. I had a job interview tomorrow, but I moved it to next week because my foot was bothering me. Called myself working out, went a little too hard, and now my foot is sore. So I got to put rest. Hey, Lena. I saw that you guys just got back home. My prayers are continuous with you and Lou. Thank you for joining, popping in. All right, guys. Well, I'm not going to belabor the point. I want to get into, and for anybody that's watching on replay, hey, how are you? Anybody that's watching on replay, I'm KL Belvin. Thank you for taking the time out. If you are live or you are watching this on replay, you are so welcome. I am KL Belvin. As you know, I'm an author, I am a mentor, I'm a speaker, I am an educator, and I am a publisher. I wear all different hats at different times, but tonight's hat is about being an author. Sometimes I tend to forget, no exaggeration, sometimes I tend to forget, but tonight is about my book, Lukewarm Saint. And I just wanted to take a few minutes out to explain the book. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Kim, how are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you so much, Lena. I appreciate that. I wish I could do more, I swear. I wish there was something I could do. I wish I could heal my buddy. Just tell him to keep fighting and tell him I'm still praying for him. But as you know, I am a 3-time published author. Lukewarm Saint is my 3rd published book. I have been a part of 5 anthologies. One I created, 2 that I was a part of with Elise Gabriel. She was the publisher. Peace in the Storm Publications, Soul of the Man Part 1, Soul of the Man Part 2, and I was in a poetry anthology, Wordplay 1. Thank you so much, and I'm going to keep praying. So my first book, A Man in Transition, released in 2008, written in 2007, released in 2008, was simply a poetry book. My second book, written in 2011, released in 2011, From Gigolo to Jesus. And then this book here, Lukewarm Saint. Now, From Gigolo to Jesus is my personal memoir, so that's nonfiction. And Lukewarm Saint is my first full length fictional offer to the world. I have written fictional stories, short stories. I have written other fictional quips, if you want to call them that, little shorts, nothing extremely long. That's my publisher. Hey, Clarity, what's up, darling? Thank you so much. She was in Wordplay with me, one of the outstanding poets in that anthology. But the special thing behind Lukewarm Saint is inspirational fiction. Now, that is not a category. The category is fiction. I deemed it inspirational fiction because it is what I hope it does for folks that read it. And I'll explain to you why. When I write with the idea of helping whoever is reading in some form or fashion. But the way I help is by creating thought. If you've ever taken the time, hey, Tammy, I'm glad Tammy's here. She played a big role in this book. I'll discuss that in a minute. So when I write anything, whether I'm writing poetry, whether I'm writing fiction, nonfiction, I am trying to get the reader to consider something. Thank you for the heart. It may not be something that they didn't consider before, but I wanted them to just think about it from the point of view that I'm bringing it. So as an intellect, I am going to write the things that I would like to read. So I don't worry so much about what the trends are. I don't worry about what's popping, and I don't worry about what's hot, because I can't follow behind any other author anyway. I don't think like any other author, and I don't try to write like any other author. So definitely, thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by. Give Lou my love, and please keep me posted on what's going on. And if I can help in any way, feel free and reach out. And so when I sat down and decided I was going to start writing fiction, the one thing that I did do is I started reading more fiction. I started listening to audiobooks because I wanted to get an idea of what I was going to do with my voice. And it's one thing, hey Debbie, how are you, love? Thank you for joining us. It's one thing when you're speaking to a group of people and telling a story. It's another thing when putting it down on paper and then creating a story that's going to cause people to stay with it until they get to a certain point, and then the story will they get in the car and they want to see where the story is going to end. And so I was a little nervous. It took me a while to finish this book. Now, this is where Tammy comes in. Tammy Harris, you guys that are here. Tammy stayed on me for over a year, almost a year and a half. She kept asking, where's Lukewarm Saint? Where's Lukewarm Saint? Because I sent her a little bit of the book before. Thank you so much. I try to be original. Thank you. I sent her a little bit of what I thought the book was going to be. I sent her a little taste of it, and she was like, no, I want the whole thing. So she stayed on me for a year and a half. Where's Lukewarm Saint? Where's Lukewarm Saint? I had did other little things. I was doing some other work. I get the message from her. Where's Lukewarm Saint? So I finally sat down and said, okay, let's get this done. And I was out of bowling for a year, so I wasn't able to bowl. I bowl with my wife. We bowl competitively. So I sat down every night and I started writing. And I started getting interested in where this story was going. So let me introduce you to Lukewarm Saint. Lukewarm Saint is a story about Kevin Watkins. Kevin Watkins is a young Brooklyn educator who's handsome, who has an issue with women. Now, what's that issue? He loves women. So lusting women is his forte. He can't get enough. He enjoys being with women every chance he gets. But thank you so much. But when you're an educator, and a good educator who loves children, it is very difficult to have this type of lifestyle basically in the darkness, when every morning and every day you're getting up and trying to help children be the best that they can be. Even looking at some of their parents and thinking, I think mom is looking pretty good. We might have to get it together. So that duality is something I wanted to come across in the story. And it's a duality that I know very well. Because when you're chasing women and you're not sure what you really want to do, you're living basically two different lives. So with Lukewarm Saint, I wanted to introduce that to people who may not understand that duality and speak to it for people who might be dealing with some of that themselves. We all have some dark things that are not what we know that the Lord would want us to be a part of, whether it's thought or actual action. We all have some things that we need to work on. Let's say it that way. So what I did with this character was I put him in scenarios that I am familiar with, and I'm sure some of you are. In this case, he has a mother and grandmother who is begging him in their own way to not be like his father and his grandfather. Because, and you will find out when you read the book, what his grandfather and father were, and they just don't want their grandson and son to be that way. So the mother and grandmother is going out their way to try to get him to turn his life around, turn his life to the Lord. But again, when you're caught up between what's considered right and what you enjoy, what are you going to do? How does that choice? And that's what you're going to see as a reoccurring theme. What will it take for you to make a choice? We all have chapters. So true. Well, actually, I put my chapters out in From Gigolo to Jesus, and that's going to be another live when I talk about it, and I have talked about it. I put a lot of my dirt, and even there's still some dirt that I wasn't going to put on the table, Deb. So you are 100% right. There are some things that we almost cringe that only God knows. So Kevin goes to church with his grandmother. He relies on his mother and grandmother, because when you don't have a male figure in your life, you rely on the strong women, and they're strong women, reflecting the strong women that I came up with as a youth. Now, to Kevin's two friends. Oh, Larry, what up, Larry? How we doing, brother? Larry has two friends on each side. One who used to be connected to the streets, who's no longer, who's happily married, who goes to church. He's the epitome of what a man should be. He's left that negative life behind him, and he's trying to get his friend to do the same. He's actually trying to explain to his friend, you know what I used to be, I'm not that anymore. Ayani, how you doing, darling? And he's trying to get his friend to change his life. He's trying to get his friend to just understand that if you continue along this path, it's going to destroy you. So he's doing what he can to try to open his eyes to the pleasure of being a man of God, being happily married, leaving all the negatives alone. But on the other shoulder, or on the other side of the coin, he has another friend who basically owns a strip club and has said, man, listen, you bed down as many women as you can, because that's what men do. And he reminds him of all the nasty things that he has done at his nightclub with the different dancers. And so Kevin is torn, because these are his childhood friends. These are who he grew up with. And again, I wanted to create a situation that we can all connect to, because we have people. Well, listen, I would love to see it into a movie. I think it'll make a decent movie. And that's another thing that I do write, because I can see the movie playing in my head as I'm writing, believe it or not. And I know most authors are that way. But in his head, these are his friends. These are the kids he grew up with. So even though they have their faults, how do you just turn your back on your friend when you're doing dirt like your other friend, but you're trying to be that upstanding individual like your other friend? And then you get up every day and go to work, and you're educating people's children when at night you're filthy. And to me, this is the epitome of what it is of being human and being a Christian. Because we always throw around the term, no one's perfect. Well, that's true. No one is. So we all have things that we think about, things that we talk about, and things that we do that we know are filthy. We know are filthy. Where's part two? Where is part? Oh, you starting already? Well, I'm getting started on part two. Actually, I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. I appreciate you. Tabby's gonna get on me. But so what I did as you're reading is I take you through that, but not just in a vanilla way. There's things going on, and there's friction between the two friends. Even though they're friends, the other two friends, because his wife doesn't really like him, but Kevin is the godfather to the children. So imagine that dynamic. Your partner, who's the godfather of your child, your wife doesn't like your other friend, but all three of you grew up. And I've gone through that. Hey, Tamika. And so here you have a scenario where the wife is a major player in Kevin's friend's life. But again, these are his friends. So he has to balance that out. He has to figure out, how do I engage my friends, engage this life that I have, listen to my mother and grandmother. But here's the key. He has his spirit. Now, he doesn't realize that it's his Holy Spirit, but he has his spirit that's gnawing at him. He keeps getting this sense that something is wrong. Now, this part I know very well. And if you ever read From Gigolo to Jesus, you're going to understand I went from a very dark place before I knew the Lord to coming to the light. And I know what that is, to have a negative feeling eating at you because of the things that you're doing. And then when you're around people who don't know, little comments that they make, they don't know how they've hit the bullseye to something that you're doing. And you have to not let that be seen because you don't want to tip your hand that you're just filthy. So I wanted to include that in the book. So let me just show you, if you've never seen the cover, because shout out to Gregory Graphics, who created the graphics for the book. So as you see, this is Kevin. Here's his two friends, and there's mom and grandma at the top. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do was, anytime I create a book cover for authors, thank you so much, Lisa. Anytime I create a book cover for authors or for myself, the book cover has to mean something. The book cover has to be connected to the book, not just because you're going to pick the book up. Because to me, I want you to understand or get a feeling before you turn the pages what you're going to be reading. Now, let me just show you something that I like, that Gregory Graphics out of Philadelphia is a person that did the book cover. So you authors that are on the page, check out Gregory Graphics. He's on Facebook, so just reach out, tell him that you heard from KL. If you can see Kevin's face, see, that's the face you have when you're alone. See, let me go through this so you can actually get a real feel for this. This is how you look to the world. This is how you look when you're in your classroom. This is how you look when you're out with the ladies. And the hands folded, yes, he might be praying or he might be shaking his hands. That's for you to decide. Is he praying or is he rubbing his hands together because he's about to get into something negative? But this is the look that you have when you are alone. This is the look that you have when you're in your car after you've done some things you're not proud of. This is the look that you have with God when you know that you're not doing the things that are right. And so shout out to Gregory Graphics for creating the cover that I felt, and I had came up with a pre-design, and then he brought the cover to life. He added this picture on the back, and to me, I'm so glad that he did, because that picture on the back, I've seen that face in the mirror so many times. And so the book is going to take you to a place where there's sub-stories going on that these friends are dealing with. But like anything, there's going to come a time when you and God are going to have a discussion. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get to say anything. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about in reference to God, I'll put it into a way that'll make more sense. At some point, whoever you are, positive and negative, you're going to come to a crossroad where everything is going to collide. Now, whether it comes out to the positive, could be. If it comes out to the negative and everything blows up in your face, could be. Thank you so much. I always try to pick graphics and designs, just like the wordplay cover. I always try to pick things that's going to be the epitome of what the book is about. So in this book and in this journey with Kevin, everything, his family, his behavior, his friends, everything comes to a crossroad where a decision is made. Now, understand this, because this is very important. You can do whatever you want to do in life. Sleep with whoever you want to sleep with. Do whatever you want to do in the dark that you want to do. That is nothing new. At some point, you're going to have to deal with some of it, if not all of it, if you don't make the choices that will be made for you. So in this book, the bottom line question is, what will it take for you to change what you're doing? And for all of us, it's something different. See, no one person reading this book is going to have the same pitfall as somebody else. People are not going to have the same pitfalls as me. I'm not going to have it as somebody else. So for Kevin, as you read and you take on this journey with him, the real question is, when you see what happens to him, the question should come up, well, what's it going to take for you to make whatever decision you need to make for you? And I don't care what you consider it or what you connect it to. If you're not eating healthy, eventually all the roads will crash into each other. If you are stealing, at some point, if you do not stop, all the roads will crash together. So yes, you may be benefiting from the stealing, and yes, nobody may know, but eventually all the roads will crash together. If you're cheating, eventually all the roads will crash together. And how bad the damage, the collateral damage, if any, to other people, to yourself, no one is going to know that until it's time. And I honestly believe that more people have this face in the background compared to this face that they show everybody. And as you see, he has people around him. He has a mother and grandmother trying to get him to consider his choices. He has friends. Now, even though he might have a friend that is negative, he still has someone that's going to support him. So whatever decision he makes, friend is going to support him. So Lukewarm Saint was created to inspire choice, to give you something enjoyable to read. I didn't make it long. I don't believe in writing these gigantic long novels. I believe it's 50 something thousand words or something like that. It's almost 200 pages, something like that, like $180. Something like, yeah, let me see. It's like about 180 something pages. I don't like writing real long novels where somebody might decide that I'm done with this and put it down. Now, back to Tammy Harris. I allowed Tammy and Lisa Burton, who she hit me up earlier and said she would love to be on tonight, but she has to work. I decided to ask Tammy and Lisa to be my beta readers. And a beta reader is somebody that you give a book to ahead of time. You give it to them and let them get the book in its raw process to see where the book stands with them. And you want to choose beta readers very wisely. You don't want beta readers who's just going to tell you what you want to hear. You want them to be honest with you. And it's funny because both of them enjoyed the book. Both of them, being women of God who are church-going women, felt that the book didn't preach to them, but spoke to a part of their lives that is a major part of their lives. And that was big for me. And both of them liked the plot twist and the subplots to the book. And I got excited. And I can't lie, I was nervous because I had never written this much fiction before. And when you venture out of your comfort zone, you're not sure how it's going to be received. You're not sure if people are going to enjoy it. Well, people did, and people have been enjoying it. Now, here's another thing, too, to my author friends that may see this or are watching this live. When you make mistakes, because I made some mistakes when I first released the book, and I thought I could leave the book out with those mistakes. You don't do that. If you know the mistakes are there, change them. So I had to burn a lot of books. I had to throw away a lot of books, but with Tammy's help, she stepped in and helped me with something in the book. And shout out to Maurice Gray Jr., who worked on the book also. Big shout out to him also. And of course, shout out to my lovely wife, Tiffany, who oversees all the projects that we do at Braven Publishing. And when we redid it, this is what I added. I want to just show you what I added to the new version of the book, a little something from Gigolo to Jesus. And this is the sex versus love chapter, a good portion of it that I added to the book. Hey, Nicole. And the reason why I added that is I wanted folks who may have read From Gigolo to Jesus, or if you've never read From Gigolo to Jesus, I wanted you to just get a little understanding of who I was, one of the better sides of me. And the sex versus love chapter from Gigolo to Jesus actually talks about how I just didn't understand what goes into loving somebody. That sex is, you can have sex with anybody, but to love somebody, the energy that it requires to hold on to one person's heart. And here I was on Christmas Eve trying to, well, I'll let you read it. But I screwed all that up because I focused on the sex part and not the love part. So back then at 18, I came to that crossroad and it blew up in my face. So I added that because I wanted to give you a real life look of what I was reaching for in the fictional book. So I wanted the reality and the fiction to marry together. And I think I did that too when you read it. And so I have been quite surprised in the reaction to the book. Shout out to Lisa, who hit me up as she was reading, and she was excited about Kevin, mad at Kevin, then thought I was Kevin at one time. And I had to tell her that, yes, there was a lot of me in Kevin, but I am not Kevin. And some of the things that happened to Kevin did not happen to me, but it just came from my imagination. So again, I wanted to, take this time out to come on, discuss my book, because sometimes I don't get the chance to share because I'm doing so many other things for other people that sometimes I forget I've done some things and I have to promote those things and market those things. But I'm very proud of this work, and I don't care if nobody else buys it. I have gotten enough feedback to let me know that I have a career at doing this. Hey, Danelle. And in writing this book, I think any person who's honest with themselves is going to see a part of themselves in this book. I think you're going to ask yourself some of the same questions that Kevin has asked himself, because we all have friends that Kevin has. We have friends who don't know the Lord, who they're our friends, but oh God, when they call, we ain't hanging out too tight, but they're still our friends. And then we have friends who used to have a negative life who are now saved and know the Lord, who might be happy that we've gotten that place, or we might be on the path to that place, or maybe we're just enjoying being whatever we're being. Either way, we're human and we're somewhere along that journey. But as I said to you, no matter what you do that's negative, it is going to clash with the things that are considered right. Now, what's right? That all depends on you. I can't tell you what's right for you. I can tell you what's right for me. But I think we all know what's the right way to do things when it's concerning other people, as well as when it's concerning ourselves. The question is, how much do we want to lie to ourselves? And that's what Kevin does a lot. He lies to himself. Now, in book 2, Lukewarm Saint Fox in the Hen House, it is extending into another avenue of Kevin's life. I am not going to go into book 2 because if you're reading book 1 right now, it'll kind of tip some things. But when you get to the end of book 1, and oh, thank you so much, Deb, I appreciate that. When you get to the end of book 1, knowing that there is going to be another book, and again, the title and the cover, I'm working on a strong cover design. Gregory Graphics will work on that for me too. But it is called Lukewarm Saint 2, Fox in the Hen House. And it is going to, it's going to be the blanket to the book. Now, what's going on under the blanket? And always remember that when I write, my faith is at the center. So I wrote the book without any really, no profanity. And some people said, well, how are you going to write a book about adults being adults and not add the profanity? Well, that's where I made the choice for me. And if that turns people off because they just want to see the coarse words, I'm sorry. I did not want to add the words that would stop some people from reading it. Now, I knew by doing that, some people would not read it. That's okay. But the people who are going to pick it up are not going to worry about the words that are not there. And that was something that was big from Lisa and Tammy, probably because you're very transparent dudes. I actually want to thank you so much, like the material you thank you so much. Being transparent is something that I have to be when it comes to my work, because I can't discuss my work and it's filled with lies. I'm not that dude no more. I don't have that no more. That's something that I gave away when I became a new creature, as the Bible says. I used to live on lies. It was like cereal. I used to get up in the morning and my day wasn't straight till I lied to somebody, or lied to some woman, or lied to somebody about something. And you get so caught into your lies that you stop forgetting what's actually truthful about you. So when I create work, I'm not going to create any work that's going to foster what I used to be. I'm going to foster who I am now. Now, I don't have all the answers now, but Lukewarm Saint is the epitome of that, because the mother and grandmother are going to be the mother and grandmother for a lot of people reading, but it might be mom and dad. It might be mom and aunt. It might be dad and uncle. It might be some seniors in your building, but every one of us has someone around us who's older, giving us what we should do to the positive. Now, whether we listen or not. And also with Lukewarm Saint, when you find out about his father and grandfather and how the love of women destroyed them, you're going to understand grandma and mom's plight with trying to head off a son who's filled with that legacy. Now, I know a little something about that. My mother and grandmother, God bless my grandmother, I miss her to death. My mother and grandmother routinely begged me not to be what I was to a lot of women. My grandmother, she loved me to death, tried to spoil me to death. And in one ear, she would be like, I love you, whatever you need. And the other ear, it's like, boy, you got to change. And it was kind of funny. There's that duality again. She was calling me on my behavior, but still would be in my corner when she needed me. And many of us have those type of individuals in our lives. And so I wanted that in my book. Hey, Lauren Green. What's up, brother Lauren? And I wanted to be able to put that as a tribute to my mother and grandmother too. Don't get me twisted. Don't get it twisted, excuse me. The grandmother figure in this book was taken from my actual grandmother. So anyone that knew who my grandmother was is going to see a lot of her in. And if we have Southern grandmothers and Caribbean grandmothers, you're going to see that grandmother in his grandmother, and who hold him to some of what he does. Someone just hit me up with a message about reading something. Let's see. I didn't plan on it. Well, I'm trying to find something. Okay, we're speaking about the grandmother, so I'll give you a little something about the grandmother. I wasn't planning on reading tonight, but okay. Kevin always joked with his grandmother about her being a model in the past. She was a silver-haired woman whose beauty was clear. She kept her hair brushed back to show her photographer-friendly face. Her wrinkles in her skin served as a badge of honor, since they appeared regal. To Kevin, she was perfect. Listen here, boy. Her eyes looked in on her grandson. Her tone changed and her pitch climbed. just short of shouting. People didn't get divorced in those days like they do today. People didn't just put a person on and off like a pair of shoes. When they got married, it was for good or for bad. And the word of God told me to stay. What was I supposed to do? Nana walked over to the stove and put the tea kettle on to warm up. Boy, do you want some coffee with me? No, Nana, I'm good. I did what I was told to do as a wife. I tried to save my husband's life. I stood with him in church, and he stopped loving the Lord with his heart. He would do the same things you do. He spent his time scoping out the ladies and dancing with the devil in the Lord's house. Now, the only difference is you haven't committed your life to preaching the word, but it's coming. He stopped loving the Lord, but that wasn't going to make me stop loving the Lord. I prayed for that man every day. So you see, when the lady's husband, can't give you no more than that. I'll just leave it at when the lady's husband. But anyway, so you see, Grandma was feisty, and Grandma basically explained to you her husband was whatever. She loved the Lord, and she wasn't going to let that go. Many of us are dealing with that right now. Many of us have seen that in our parents right now. Many of us are dealing with that in our house. We love the Lord, and our significant other may not. Many of us are dealing with, how do I get a friend to let go of some of the things that they're connected to when you know you've let go? And trust me, I struggle with that. I have friends that are still connected to what they used to be connected to when I was a part of it. I don't judge them. I just had to remove myself from being around them. And that's hard too. And that's what Kevin is struggling with. He doesn't know how to release himself from both his friends, to have one friend saved and to have another friend owning a strip club, to go to that strip club and lay down with the women at the strip club and then come back and have to be a godfather to a church going man. Now, some of you will say, why would he even make him the godfather? See, that's what friendship is about. Friendship is about, I know you'll take care of my kids. I know you'll take care of my wife if something happens, even if you're doing the freaky thing in your personal business. Some people don't understand that. And I wanted to create that in my book. And I honestly believe when you get to, and it's not a long read, it's actually a short, great read, like I said, about 200 pages. When you get to the end of the book, and if I was to never write book 2, and I always think like that, if I was to never write the next book, can this book stand on its own? I believe so. Now, I'm going to write book 2, and I've actually started working on book 2. But I make every book and every poem and every story that I create to stand on its own. So if I don't add anything else, somebody who reads my stuff will go, I feel where that brother was coming from. I also write with passion and I write with emotion. And it's funny because when I really do get into these characters, I have to take a step away. Because it's like my life mirrors some of what the characters are going through. I'm instantly transported to some negative places of my own past that I have to actually disconnect a second just to get my head clear and remind myself I'm not in that situation anymore. And I have to thank God that I'm not. And then it's back to work. Now, I can say I've been part of this summer with I want book 2. Yes, Tabby, yes. I am working on Lukewarm Saint, Fox in the Hen House. Lukewarm Saint 2, Fox in the Hen House. Kevin Watkins is, yeah, he's in some mess. And he's going to be. And actually, book 3 is Lukewarm Saint 3, Redemption. And that's the 3 parts to the series. And so one is Lukewarm Saint 2, Fox in the Hen House, Lukewarm Saint 3, Redemption. I'm putting them together because I believe once all 3 are completed, a person will be able to walk themselves through all 3 and hopefully find something that connects to them completely. That is my hope. And so I am definitely getting all 3 together. So to anybody watching tonight, here's what I wanted to give you as a gift. If you want to go by my website and purchase the book tonight, I am going to give you 25% off. I have to put the code together. The code will be available after, we'll say 10 10:45. I just have to go set it up on the website. What I'm going to do is from 10:45 tonight to, we'll say 10:45 tomorrow. Anybody that orders a book, Lukewarm Saint or any other book from my website, will get 25% off by putting in this discount code. Here it is. Tammy Harris. If you put in the discount code Tammy Harris, TAMMYHARRIS, all one word, put in Tammy Harris, you will get 25% off your book or whatever you purchase. No limits. If you buy 6, 7, 8 books, you'll still get 25% off. And it's only for one day. A one-day sale. And you can pass that on to anybody who is that you know. But for one day, and honoring those that have read my book, those that have enjoyed my book. So I'm going to make it Tammy Harris tonight. So for one day, from now to 10:45, I'm going to set it up on my website that for one day, everybody that enters Tammy Harris will get 25% off. You may share it with whoever you want, because I don't mind, because I am serious about the work. I'm serious about folks reading it. I'm not worried about the money I give away with the 25% off. I know some people might think I'm crazy. It's okay. I don't mind. Because I believe the book is an enjoyable read. And the only thing that I ask is that if you have read and have the book, please come by the website and leave a word on the guest book, or go by Amazon.com and leave a review. Also, after today, because if you buy it from my other site, you won't get the discount. Oh, actually, I can put the discount there too. So, also, if you go by Transaction City, all one word, .com, transactioncity.com, for the next day, for 24 hours, there'll be a 25% discount if you purchase the book from there also. And to anyone that's on my page, if you have any products or services that you would like to sell or to set up, you can set up your own internet store for free on transactioncity.com. Global marketing site. And it is an opportunity for you to set up a store for yourself, put your services or your products there at no cost. And if you go by the site, you will see that my books and my services are already there. So I'm going to go and set up a discount code for anyone that purchases the book for the next 24 hours. And if you go to my regular website, Braven Publishing, somebody can put that in the comments for me, www.braven, BRAVIN publishing.com, BRAVIN publishing.com. That is my regular website, and transactioncity.com are the two sites that I am using right now, and I want folks to use both. I am a partner in Transaction City. Brother Lauren Green was here. He is the mastermind behind the site, and let me tell you something, incredible site. Don't just stop by for my stuff. Make sure you take a look around. You can pretty much get everything. It is a global marketing place. So everything from hospital, you can buy a house. I bugged out when I was going through the site that you can actually buy a trampoline and a house on the site, because you have people from all different walks of life. Imagine a big, gigantic virtual mall. That's actually what you're in. And you can set up your own store depending on what you have. Yes, bravenpublishing.com, and the other one is transactioncity.com. TRANSACTIONCITY.com, transactioncity.com. But yes, guys, Lukewarm Saint, and because I know Tammy is going to kick me with compassion and kick me in the butt, I am going to get on that and get it done. You'll enjoy it. You really enjoy it. It really is going to say a lot about Kevin. Grandmother returns. Actually, some people return. You'll see. You'll enjoy it. I don't want to give away too much. And actually, anybody that's read, yes, there you go, transactioncity.com. And anybody that's read the book, remember, you cannot give away the subplots and the other things about the book to people that have not read it. Give them the opportunity to read. If you have any positive words, feel free to come by the Braven Publishing site and drop a word or two in our guest book. Tiff and I always love that. It's always great for business. If you know people that are reading it, tell them to write reviews. Reviews is the other way that you can help me in what I do. If you've already read a review, you know I've already thanked you. But again, always say to other folks, have you left a review? As an independent author and publisher, reviews help. When people see positive stuff in my guest book, when people see the positive reviews on Amazon and other places, it helps with business. But I really believe this story. Let me show it to you again before I go. Lukewarm Saint. Check that face. Look at moms and grandmoms. Look at the two friends. It is actually, and actually I forgot their names, say the truth. It's actually James and Richard. That's actually James and Rich is a friend. Who's James and who's Rich? James is the well-dressed club dude, and Rich is my man over here. And you can pick whichever you want to be moms and grandmoms. But love the cover. Again, I believe that many of us have this face in private where we're just confused and we're not sure what we're going to do next. And Lord knows I've been there many a night. So I thank you for joining me tonight. I thank you for taking the time out to come by. Please share this on your pages. Please let other folks know to check it out. And again, for 24 hours, 25% off using the discount code Tammy Harris. So if folks watch, they'll get a discount. If they want to hang out and don't watch, then they're going to lose out on the opportunity to get a great book at a great price, because 25% off is a lot. But I don't mind. I want folks to have the books. Now, remember, if you want me to come and speak at your church, your organization, or whatever, reach out. My voicemail number is on my website. Actually, let me bring that up for folks because I always forget it. So let me bring up the voicemail number so I can give that to you. I know it's 347 something. I always forget. I'm getting old. Okay, so if you need to contact me to set up an opportunity to come and speak, 347-921-0443. Now, it doesn't matter. Either one is fine, uppercase or lowercase. 347-921-0443 is my office voicemail. Also, my direct email is mainoffice@bravenpublishing.com. mainoffic@bravenpublishing.com. mainoffice@bravenpublishing.com. 347-921-0443 is the voicemail number. If you need me to come and speak, my honorariums, we'll work on the price. Normally I start at about $250 and we'll go from there. Depending on how far I have to travel, depending on how long you need me to be there. I'm actually working on some Bible study materials. I'm actually going to be teaching my first Bible study class this Sunday. I got to go meet with the pastor of the church tomorrow. So I was invited to come and teach Bible study Sunday morning. I'm excited by that. The gentleman that I've been speaking to wants to counsel on a regular. So yes, main office at bravenpublishing.com. So him and I have been speaking. He's actually looking to get a couple of fellas from the church to set up private Bible study with me. So I'm working on some of that also. So I may be doing some private Bible study. And who knows what it leads to. You know, maybe one day I'll set up my own church. We'll see. Something that my grandmother said I would do. But I am studying counseling and ministry with my master's degree, so it might be a long-term objective. Right now, it's just getting my feet on the ground here in Delaware and getting things situated. But the Lord is moving quickly, and I need to get things together quickly. But Making Marriage Cool Again, the Marital Handbook, and Lukewarm Saint 2 are the books that will be coming very soon. I will finish up. I'm going to finish up the last part of this year strong. So I am looking to have both of them completed before we get into the real cold months of November and December going into the new year. But I should have them completed But I'm definitely going to have the cover in the next month or two of Lukewarm Saint 2. Once you see the cover, know that I'm definitely trying to get everything finished behind the scenes. But I'm going to put the cover out a couple of months before to give you a chance to make whatever decision you want to make about purchasing it. So I want to say I love you and I appreciate all of you. Thank you for taking the time out. Again, please share. Please tell somebody in the next 24 hours who you know that should know me. Let somebody know. Do you know who this dude is? You need to check him out. Let somebody who doesn't know me find out about me so I can stay in touch with them also. All right? Looking forward to hearing from you. Again, if you have the book, thank you so much. If you know somebody that would read it, purchase it. Books make great gifts. So I look forward to hearing from all of you. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for taking the time out with me tonight.